Why astrology can be so helpful if your life is totally crazy. So let's face it, some people have pretty straightforward lives. There are people that have far more ease in their curriculum than others. And so the metaphor I came up with was, let's say there is somebody that wants to go from one cafe to the next cafe. So they might walk out of the cafe and they go right and they're headed down to the cafe, and they might come across a broken glass. They might get honked at. They might hear some people fighting, and they might see someone run a red light and they have to jump out of the way. There's some challenges there. Then there are people like, for me, for example, if I want to get to that cafe, at least this is how it's been the last couple of years, I need to leave my cafe and I'm immediately on this wild water slide. I get plunged out into a cold lake. I have to swim to the other side. And on the other side is like magical people, fairy lights in the woods, and everyone's dancing and having a great time. And there's all these really cool people. But suddenly, I'm pulled out of this amazing community experience. Now I'm walking through the woods. There's some really scary beasts, and I come face to face with some really crazy animals in here, and I'm having to dodge and hide. Then all of a sudden I am climbing a mountain and it's a lot of hard work, but up at the mountain I suddenly meet all these amazing people, these friends that are like deep soul aligned beings, and we're having like incredible conversations and really deep, and it's fun. And then suddenly a plane picks me up and takes me off, and there's other planes around that are coming for this plane. So I'm like, I think we need to jump out of here. Are there parachutes? And they're like, "Yeah, there's a parachute, but the parachute might not work." And I'm like, well, the only way out of here is the parachute. So I'm going to trust that it works. Do you get the picture? Do you get the difference between someone that has an easy curriculum? There might be a few things. And then there are those of us that have like wild, like, whoa. For me, astrology has just been incredibly helpful. Incredibly helpful. When life is going so crazy, it's easy for you to think that you've lost your power. This is your problem. You aren't manifesting correctly. You're not praying correctly. You are doing something wrong. This must be a problem for you. And what I want to say is, all of those things might be true at some level. There might be a problem. But on a big level, it could just be that you signed up for a really big task in this lifetime. You and your soul were ready to go through some real insane adventures and harrowing situations. And it could just be that your astrology can explain this to you. To me, astrology is a map. It's not going to tell you exactly every detail and every fact, but it is an incredible map of what's going on. So I want to say that I got into astrology many years ago, I think around 2011. was so 15 years, and I dived straight in. I was an insane astrology fanatic. I have been studying astrology so deep. It's so in my soul. It made so much sense. But in 2000, that was when I got into Western astrology. In 2015, my boyfriend at the time was studying Vedic astrology. And he said to me, "Hey, I just want to let you know that you're going to be going through this phase in Vedic astrology called Rahu. And you have in a really hard placement. And that's going to start sometime." I don't remember how many years he said, but he said this Rahu period is coming. And I remember being like, oh my gosh, I did a little research. I was really nervous about it. And I also want to say that part of what I think is really helpful in astrology is when we're really nervous about something in our chart, the answer is to love ourselves and be there for that part of ourselves that is really scared. Because it could be that, well, a lot of people believe that I shouldn't know anything about astrology because I don't want it to program my mind. I want to be able to manifest from this free place. And that's all good. I hope that for you, if that works. But for me, my life has always been a bit crazy. And several years later, I was like, wow, my life has been really insane. And that's when I remembered, this was a couple years ago, I remembered about what my boyfriend had said back in 2015. And I went and started doing some research. And sure enough, in 2021, I believe in January or February, that is when I entered this Rahu Mahadasha. The Mahadashas in astrology are different time periods where you are most impacted by a certain part of your chart. So there is a Jupiter Mahadasha, there's a Mars, a Mercury Mahadasha, and a Sun Mahadasha. Well, Rahu is also called the North Node in Western astrology. And Rahu is one of the most intense times of your life. It is an 18-year period. So this isn't just some short little transit. This is a long time when you are being pushed to evolve in a big way. And the first few years are the trickiest, which is I had no idea about this, that this was happening until maybe in year 3. And the 8th house, where my Rahu is one of the most challenging places that you can have your Rahu. So I am not telling you this as a victim. I'm telling you this as someone who has deeply studied my chart and deeply looked into. This gives me some clarity on why things have been so crazy and so many insane things have happened over the past years. So it's very different than the manifestation idea. Is kind of like you just think positive and you just believe, and you're going to be in the perfect relationship and everything's going to come and be perfect for you. And astrology is not saying that that is not true, but it's also saying that there's a big curriculum that's a lot deeper than just believing everything is going to be good and just like, oh, yay, I'm thinking positive. I want to know how many people that has truly deeply worked for. So with astrology, it can be an amazing thing to start to become that observer of life, become the one who can see life insane, but I understand that this is what I signed up for. I believe that the astrology is linked with our soul contract. So for me personally, I came here to have some really big crises and some really crazy things happen because that is the nectar of my heart and all I'm here to teach and help others to understand. I have to go in and do a lot of really intense work on fear, on these belief systems. And on the other side, I become a more grounded oracle. I find that wisdom within, and then I bring it out into the world. And I'm like, hello, world. This is the kind of crazy stuff that has happened to me. And a lot of people relate. So it's a gift. And Rahu, because it's forcing you so deeply to evolve, and especially eighth house that is a moksha house, and moksha is enlightenment. With Rahu in the eighth house, it's probably going to be a time when you're gonna evolve and be kind of like bulldozed over, but there's a huge opportunity for spiritual awakening, for liberation. And that is really what these last years have taught me, is how to be at peace in the chaos, how to be in my joy even when things are absolutely crazy, how to choose the frequency that I want to live in even when things are really insane. So again, in the manifestation, we're often told, like, keep your frequency so that you get what you want. And I think that there is absolutely a lot of truth to that, but there's also keep your frequency high so that you can be more and more and more yourself, more connected as your higher self, more living as your true self. And then you can look at the human self that is going through all these challenges, and you can look at all with a smile and with love. The smile is not laughing at, it is smiling with, it is holding with this love and joy. So you get to choose when you go through really hard things. Are you going to let it just absolutely destroy your spirit and get depressed and get down? Or are you going to pick yourself back up, love the heck out of yourself, learn to live as love and that compassion for yourself, and then that radiates out to others, and learn from these really hard things? And so my hard thing, there's lots of hard things in my chart, but this Rahu for 18 years is definitely, it's like huge crises, huge transformations, getting caught in like contracts and deals and like financial situations that are like really insane. It's having some crazy relationships. For me, I also have Libra, so there's a lot of relationship issues in there. And in the positive side, it's just liberation, it's transformation and spiritual awakening and trust in something greater than this world. I share all of this because I want you to understand that if your life is crazy, there could be some really good reasons why astrologically, and they're not because you have negative beliefs or you're not holding the right frequency or you're just not manifesting properly. It could be because you are here to learn very specific lessons that you signed up for. And I do believe that there's something to saying we chose before we came here some of these really hard things. And I do resonate with that. I don't think there's anything here that I didn't, I guess, agree to before I got here. And I can just sit and love myself and be there for myself. And I can be there for other people as well, because I know how hard this human experience can be. And I just want to also share that it can be so beautiful. Every single hard thing that we go through on the other side is a gift, is an incredible gift. And this is like intimacy with ourselves, and the intimacy with life is just looking at life as, wow, this is insane, but I trust. I trust that life is going to work out. I trust that it's going to be beautiful, even in the chaos, even in the turbulence. I trust that I am growing and changing in ways that I am destined. I'm becoming the person that I'm here to be. And that sometimes happens through really hard things. The person who's on the wild track might not have as easy life as the one who's just going to walk down the street and maybe hit a couple of roadblocks, but they might be more evolution in there. So I trust your path. And if your life is crazy, first of all, I highly recommend going and seeing what your Mahadasha is. You can find it on a Vedic astrology calculator. And if you need some help with this, I've given thousands of astrology readings. I give intuitive intimacy oracle readings, but I also give my astrology readings because I truly believe that having this map can ease the suffering. It can ease the crazy if we know why we're at a place, and know that things can change. This year can be really hard. Next year can be, well, it might be really hard too, but it might also be shifting and easier, and things do not last forever. That's the thing about astrology, is there's cycles, there's time frames. And once you understand this, you can relax, let go, and tap into that higher frequency that can just be with yourself on the ride, knowing that you are loved, you are surrounded by love, and you've got yourself, no matter what the appearance on the outside. No matter what happens, you are learning to hold yourself, have yourself, be your best friend, be the parent that maybe you didn't have, that was perfect, exactly what you needed. And on that path, there are certainly openings of meeting the people in your life that you're meant to be with, the relationships, the opportunities, the finances. When you hold that frequency, everything is going to align for you, even in the crazy. So if you need help with this, you want to get an astrology reading with me, please let me know. I am sending you so many blessings and much, much love.